with that in mind, I do want to turn it over to the Bates Career Development Center. We're going to hear from David McDonough, the director, because one of the best resources for figuring out what's next is talking to them. So we'll hear a little bit from David McDonough, and then we'll wrap up.
So I'm going to do the 1-minute version of my story because I feel compelled to do that, and the 4-minute kind of version of resources. But first I want to introduce two of my colleagues, Colleen Cox, Senior Associate Director in BCDC up at the front here, who focuses on employer and alumni relations, gets a lot of the great internships and jobs in our JobCat system. And then over on the back there, Karen Degler, who has a counseling psychology degree from BC, I believe. Is that right, Karen? Yeah, something like that. So Karen sees a lot of our students in pre-health, but is open to seeing anybody, right? She'll talk to anybody. So my 1-minute version of my 20s can be quite brief, because by the time I was 29, I just graduated. I started my undergraduate degree at 25 and did a whole bunch of other things first, and arrived at this kind of later in life as I was kind of sitting in an office job in London looking around prior to thinking about going back to a degree. I was looking around and going, hey, these people that I work with that have degrees aren't that smart. I could do that. So I did, and I went back and I pursued a degree in politics, geography, and did some philosophy, no psychology, sorry about that, but maybe next time. I could have quite happily continued in a variety of majors. I then, towards the end of my senior year, I had that thing called thesis, as some of you are going through that experience. So everything came to a stop, focused on thesis, graduated, and then went, what next? I was pretty certain that the United Nations or some other institution was going to snap me right up for my vast knowledge of political and other events, but that didn't quite happen. And I found myself working in a warehouse, painting the floor, thinking, why did I do this degree again? But that soon changed. I did a good job painting the floor. I got a great recommendation from the people, and they sent me on through this recruitment agency to a college for another temporary position. The person left a few weeks later. I got a full-time position and progressed up through into human resources at a college. So there's a certain amount of serendipity to all of your careers that will inevitably happen, except for Amy there. That is very unusual. The only thing I'd say about that, sometimes it goes down a little bit and before it goes back up, but don't worry too much about it. A quick note of caution for those that are going study abroad. I know some on my table are thinking about going on study abroad. I met my wife on study abroad, which my abroad is Maine. This was my abroad. So be careful who you keep in touch with over the longer term as you kind of go on those experiences. So just a quick note of caution. So some of the resources, hopefully many of you have already made it into BCDC. How many folks have actually been in? Great, terrific, good to see. So just a very quick overview. For the seniors in the room, we're still here, we don't go away. You can use our services. Michael referred, I think, a young alum from the class of 11 just recently. We'll be here through the summer and after. As you have, questions because you stopped paying tuition, we will still see you. That's not a problem. So just to make sure you're aware of that. We take telephone appointments, Skype appointments, quick emails. We're more than happy to help with any of your career-related concerns. I do want to plug, the alumni events that happen around the country. There's a great series of events in Boston, New York, LA, all across the country where you can keep connected to Bates through those networking events that I know might seem a little scary at first. And, how many people in the room love to network? There you go, Colleen, yeah. They're kind of scary. We're often at many of them, and we can talk, more about that. But there's some wonderful networking events that happen to keep you connected. So update your information on the Alumni Affairs website. All the events are kind of, listed there throughout the year as well. How many folks have a LinkedIn account? Great, terrific. That's a great resource to remain connected to Bates as well. The Bates Alumni and Friends Group has over 3,000 members. I looked earlier, and there's actually 429 folks in there with a psychology background. And as you look through, you know, the psych majors, you'll see that they go into a myriad of different professions. Lawyers, doctors, business folks, social services, as well as more psych-specific disciplines. But we all know that majors don't dictate your particular career path. So, you know, LinkedIn can be a valuable tool just to kind of reach out. People love to talk about themselves. People love to help. You know, whenever I talk with alumni, they're saying, you know, just make sure in the subject line you say, you know, Bates student or young Bates alum. They are more than happy to talk to you about their own profession and really help, you know, navigate you to the world. Hopefully most of you have found JobCat, which is where we store all of our opportunities, both internships and full-time opportunities. We also have the Liberal Arts Career Network within JobCat. If you haven't found that, there's a vast array of social, human services, HR, psych, you know, related, as well as a myriad of other opportunities in that are really targeting liberal arts majors. So Liberal Arts Career Network is another wonderful resource. We have tons of stuff on our website, online guides, how to write a thank you letter, how to utilize LinkedIn, advice on graduate school, how to write a resume, etc. The other thing that I'd probably mention, I mean, we've got tons of resources come in and talk more specifically, but one of the things that I find, you know, as folks go out and get their internships or particularly more so their first jobs, you tend not to do well in first interviews. So I'd really recommend before you graduate coming in and getting some practice in that arena, both with us individually in mock interviews. And we also have a wonderful product called Interview Stream on our website where you can record yourself and rehearse the responses to particular interview questions. It takes practice, and sometimes, you know, you put a lot of energy into applying, and finally you get that call and you go in and it just doesn't work out, you know, that well. So, you know, these are some of the things that you really have to practice, and as I say, we're more than happy to do that individually. And certainly utilize some of the online resources to help you with that as well. So that's probably all I want to say in terms of resources. I know that we're probably coming to the end of our time, but you know where we are, right across the road here on 53 campus. Although I was a bit concerned when the president said, "Oh, we're going to be building a new residence hall potentially opposite Chase Hall." We're like, "Oh." So we'll see. Hopefully we'll be there for a little while, but we'll see.
Great, thank you. Wonderful. So I'd like to thank all of our panelists for taking the time to share their stories with us, and thank all of you for taking time at the very busy end of the semester to be here with us. And I hope you take at least one nugget away from tonight that will help inspire you as you find your path forward. So thank you.